Hello, I am Mario 8th and welcome to Super Mario Bros. In Review, the show where I will be reviewing all 18 Super Mario Bros. Platformers and ranking them to find the ultimate Super Mario Bros. Game. You can find all the previous and future videos in the playlist linked in the description, but first, this week we will be visiting Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins for the Nintendo Game Boy. It was released in 1992 in both Japan and the US, only a couple weeks apart, with PAL regions getting it the next year. I hadn't heard too much about Mario Land 2 before going in. I knew most people liked it more than the first, that the illustrious Wario makes his premiere, and that it was on the Game Boy. I was surprised to read that some critics at the time liked this one less than the first Mario Land, which is a wild thing to consider given how many improvements were made. Regardless, the game went on to be the 5th best-selling Game Boy game, so I don't think Nintendo complained too much. Mario Land 2 was once again produced by Gunpei Yokoi and directed by both Hiroji Kiyotake and Takahito Hosokawa, and the team was actually pretty bitter to be working on a new Mario Land. They instead wished to work on their own IPs. This led to the creation of the main antagonist Wario, which is a play on the name Mario and the Japanese phrase warui, which means bad. If you're gonna make us work on a Mario game, we're gonna make a bad Mario. In the same vein, they originally wanted to make a game that broke traditional Mario conventions, but later opted to make the game more aligned with Mario World. So Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins has Mario returning to his, private island after saving Princess Daisy from the previous land game, only to find his castle has been taken over by his, childhood friend Wario. Wario stole the keys to the castle, which in this case are the titular coins, and sent them to be guarded by the brainwashed inhabitants of, and I cannot stress this enough, Mario's private island. The team wanted to make something new, and they certainly did that. Anyway, Mario gets his coins, beats Wario, and converts his castle back to its normal, not evil self. Well, aside from the truly wild story, the gameplay of Mario Land 2 was really good. Coming off of both Mario Land 1, which was a somewhat inferior Mario Bros. 1, and Super Mario World, one of the best platformers ever, I was actually surprised to find Mario Land 2 felt like a weird half-step between Mario 3 and World. The levels are smaller, but have a lot of explorability like in World, including some secret exits and halfway checkpoints. The overworld map has Mario walking around much like in World, but the map is smaller and less interactive, like across from Mario World and Mario 3. The physics were a little bit stiff, but much more responsive than in Mario Land 1, and platforming off enemies felt almost as good as the home console counterparts, except for in water. It felt like a brick trying to swim during the water levels, and I was surprised to see how expansive Mario's moveset was. Of course, running and jumping are normal, but by pressing down and jumping, Mario retains his spin jump to break blocks. Speaking of enemies though, Koopas and Goombas once again make their return with 100% less exploding shells. Piranha Plants and Boos and Scalyfish make their return too, as well as a whole bunch of really weird new ones. I fought a whole bunch of bugs in this game. I avoided really angry stars once, and hopped on walking ski masks with knives sticking out of them. Also, I lied, they were redesigned, but there are turtle enemies that blow up after Mario stomps on them. Of course, all the enemies have to be weird because the areas Mario exploring are also pretty strange. He visits the usuals like a haunted house or underwater, but then he goes to space the first time, or gets shrunk and explores a normal-sized house but really small. The weirdest of all is the giant robotic statue of Mario himself that he has on his own island for some reason. With the already strange areas and enemies in mind, the bosses kind of don't stand out that much. Tatanga is back from the first game in the space area, of course, but then there's just normal stuff like a big bird, some squibs, a witch. Why does the Mario statue have 3 little pigs in it? I don't know, that one is still strange. Every zone consists of 3 or 4 levels, each which are pretty well designed. Every level ends with an exit door with a special bell up high that if rung allows Mario to play a minigame to get more power-ups or lives. The power-ups are returning mushrooms and fire flowers, although the latter now gives a feather instead of the new color palette. The stars make Mario invincible, and the new carrot which gives Mario bunny ears and allows him to glide almost infinitely. 1-ups are once again hearts. Probably the most innovative change they made to the formula was how any zone can be selected in any order, years before Zelda: A Link Between Worlds even tried it. But much like in Zelda, this kinda ruins the difficulty curve. Being able to customize a play session is fun, but it also makes the game very easy. At least until the final level, where getting to and beating Wario had me dying more than the rest of the game combined. The game also does look pretty good, especially for the Game Boy. The sprites are much bigger on screen, but the levels compensate for that, and every enemy is recognizable and visually interesting. Plus, Mario's sprite looks great, and the world map is fun. The music was done by Kazumi Totaka, and was one of the earliest appearances of Totaka's song. Most of the soundtrack revolves around the main theme, with most songs being a slight remix of it. And while the theme is good, after a while I did get pretty tired of hearing the same song over and over. But that did make any song that wasn't the main theme stand out especially well, like in the Star Maze level. The game was much larger than the first, but still wound up being fairly short. It took me a couple hours rather than just one, but the whole time I had a lot more fun. While controlling Mario on the Game Boy could never be as good as on a home console, it still did the job well. Every level was fun to play, the unique environments were fun to explore, and while easy, any game that was even potentially responsible for WarioWare gets a pass in my book. So the big question for me right now is, do I like this game more than Mario Bros. 2 USA? It's clearly better than the Lost Levels and Mario Land, but I can't do the original Mario Bros. That dirty. You know, I can't do Mario 2 that dirty either. My new ranking for 2D Mario games is 7. Super Mario Bros. 2 The Lost Levels, 6. Super Mario Land, 5. Super Mario Land 2, 4. Super Mario Bros. 2 USA, 3. Super Mario Bros., 2. Super Mario Bros. 3, and 1. Super Mario World. And with that, we are done with the classic 2D Mario platformers. I'm almost a little sad to be saying goodbye. I'm also sad to be skipping Yoshi's Island, but that is a Yoshi game, not a Mario game. And with that, we enter the third dimension, the launch title for the Nintendo 64, Super Mario 64. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe leave a rating or sub to be notified of more. While you're down there, you can check the description for all of my socials where I'm at Mario8th everywhere. I'm on Twitter, Tumblr, and you can see what games I'm playing on ggApp.io. Also in the description is the playlist that every Mario and review video will eventually be in. And if you'd like, let me know what your personal Mario ranking is in the comment section. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Do 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 do.